Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. This is a Monday morning for me. Just here to start out the week with you and having a few fresh organic strawberries for breakfast. Emotional eating and comfort food. I'm going to be a little heavy-handed with this video and not pull punches, but I'm not going to be too heavy-handed, so don't anybody get offended on this. But I've heard these two buzzwords off and on ever since I went raw vegan, ever since I started interacting with people in the vegan and or raw vegan world. And quite frankly, I don't want to get too self-help here, but if we were to watch these Tony Robbins types or the motivational people, quite frankly, I think those are both of those words are words of weakness. They're words of weakness, they're crutches to fall back on, and really they're used as excuses. Now, not to say that emotional eating doesn't exist, but if it's really at something that's a difficulty, well then I guess it has to be treated like a regular addiction. Maybe you need to go see professional help. Or, you know, unless it's like a heroin addiction where you actually have to go get help to really kick it. But in the end, it's just an excuse just to end up and eat foods we don't know that don't serve us that well, and give it a label and give it kind of a reason for what we're doing it. But reason equals excuse. Okay, now having said that, we all have them. We all make excuses in our life. We all have little weaknesses in our life. The difference is in people that are successful and people that aren't successful is what are you going to do with it? Because once you identify it, once you identify the very first time that you say that you ate this, it was emotional eating. Once you've identified that, then it's really just up to you to decide, okay, now how do I correct that? Or how do I deal with that? And the best way I see to deal with it is just the simplest way. I'll give you a little example. Maybe not the best example because I don't consider it emotional eating, but it would work for emotional eating. Last night, I'm laying around at night. I ate dinner kind of fairly early, probably about 5:30. And normally that satiates me, but I was hungry. I got hungry around, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock, right before I was going to go to bed. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm hungry. And I didn't have anything bad around the house. And I could have gone on to bed. I could have made it. It wasn't like I was flipping out, but I was hungry. I really was hungry, and I was kind of, I kept getting up. I'd go to the kitchen. Finally, I found I had 3 little mangoes. So I had these 3 little mangoes. And then right before I went to bed, I made watermelon juice yesterday. So I had 16 ounces of watermelon juice. Now, I don't have issues with not being able to go to sleep because of the sugar. Generally, I don't want to eat that fruit, that sugar, like right before I'm going to bed, but it didn't keep me from going to sleep, and it was much better than if I'd had something, bad around here, like if I'd had a bag of nuts, or even, God forbid, I don't have that stuff in my house, but if I'd have had something really bad, and just, the key is to put those things in front of you that will keep you from doing the bad things. That sounds pretty remedial. But all the real truths in life are remedial. What's one of the best little books out there? Everything I really needed to know I learned in kindergarten. So yeah, just keep simple, good choices around the house. If you know, okay, if emotional eating is something that happens to you a lot, you have to come up with a set plan for it. People that it doesn't deal with all that much maybe can be a little less specific in how they plan to handle it. It's just keeping good stuff around. But for somebody that really has a problem with emotional eating, really falls back on comfort foods, I think what we have to do is redefine those terms. We have to redefine those terms within whatever lifestyle you're living. If it's something sweet, you have to figure out, like, what is your go-to? Like, what if you do experience emotional eating, or what is your go-to sweet comfort food? What is your go-to salty or fat comfort food, and you make substitutes for it. I mean, if it's for the sweet, you got to be able to make that banana ice cream, because if you can get that banana ice cream, even if you're going to put, I'll put a little bit of cacao on mine. I mean, there's nothing. Even if you would prefer to have ice cream, even if you still prefer that type of sugar, this will satiate you. This will take away that craving. I guarantee that. A bowl of anywhere, depending on your size, from 5 to 10 bananas of banana ice cream. You eat that when you want to eat ice cream or cake or whatever gooey sweet treat. I will guarantee if you eat a big bowl of that ice cream, that will get you through that, get you over that hump, and satisfy your hunger. If it's salty, make something, keep it around the house. Make kale chips. I don't know. I don't have as much for salty. I mean, but you see what I'm getting at. You make these substitutes, and you have an alternative. And you have it handy, and you have it available all the time, because you don't know when these little things are going to pop up. And some of these tips can actually cross the line, whether you want to call it emotional eating, or if it's just binge eating, or if it's just, if you just have a problem with nibbling, or wanting to, or being hungry, or always wanting to grab something that's not good for you. You have to keep things around the house. You have to keep good substitutes around the house, because we're lazy. We're lazy, and our mind is not as strong as we would like it to be most of the time. I would like for us to all be able to say, even if we don't have a good alternative there, we just say, no, let's say this is something, even though these are strawberries, let's pretend this is something bad. It would be nice just to be able to have the willpower to detach and say, okay, I understand that this is not good, and I'm not going to eat it, without having any substitute for it, or without having to play any tricks with your mind. But most of us don't have that strong a willpower. You put something in front of us, we're going to eat it. But if we have this bad and this good, and this that is good for us also tastes good, and we can eat as much of this good for us as we want, you just go and you pound as much of the good stuff as you can until you don't have that taste for the bad anymore. Listen, being successful in this lifestyle, or whatever lifestyle you're trying to do, it takes some little tricks on your mind. It takes preparation, it takes education, but it takes tricking your mind at times too. It takes just, if those cravings come up, you might even want to overeat on something like strawberries or bananas, or not overeat, but just eat more, just to make sure you're full, just to knock out that craving. In other words, if I get that craving for sweets and I pound 5 or 6 bananas, then my stomach is full, and that should hold that craving away. And then but we've got to stop using the excuses. At least, I'm not knocking you if you do emotional eating, or if you fall into that trap. I'm not trying to judge you on that. I'm just saying, within your mind, play that trick within your mind that we have to eliminate these words. And those are words of weakness, and they're crutches. And we need to deal with them. We need to deal with them like that, but we also need to be aware that they are there. And we can't just, generally most of us don't have the mind just to say, okay, I understand, I've been emotional eating, now I understand what it is, I understand that I'm doing it, I will not do it anymore. Most people can't do that. None of us, we don't have that strong a mind yet. Or maybe some of us do if you're really into some deep meditation where you focus your mind, but for most of us, it's about making little tricks, like listen, if a bad urge pops up, kill it with a good one. That may not be optimal. At some point you would like to learn just to control your urges, control your eating without having to do that, but especially in the beginning, and maybe forever. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I'm never going to hurt myself by sitting down and eating a pint of these fresh organic strawberries. So maybe not. Maybe you don't have to control it. Maybe you always have something around it. I want to eat the chocolate ice cream this morning. I'm having that craving, something emotional. So I'm having some problems in my life that make me want something comforting, So I'm just going to pound and eat all these strawberries. I'm going to eat these strawberries until I'm full. And when I'm full, there's I mean, you know, I didn't eat the chocolate, or I didn't eat the particular thing I wanted, but when my body's full, it's more equipped to deal with those cravings. Like when you're full, the specificity of what you're craving kind of goes away. You've sort of filled it by eating the same sort of food, whether it's sweet for sweet, salt for salt, fat for fat. But you get my message. But anyhow, identify this. Don't just keep using it. Like I say, I'm not here to judge, oh, this is wrong. We've all done emotional eating. We all have our comfort foods. All I'm saying is identify these. Don't just keep using them as an excuse over and over and over. Don't do, well, it was emotional eating. Okay, but you've said that 25 times. So that's like saying I've got an infection in my foot and I've had it for 6 months. Well, you know, you take care of the infection. You take care of the addiction. You take care of the problem. You've identified the problem. Just by saying the words emotional eating, you've identified the problem. So once you identify the problem, you set about methods for solving the problem, or methods for dealing with the problem. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are going to have a wonderful week. I'm always excited on Monday mornings to see what the week's going to bring. I got a bunch of exciting new stuff happening. Hopefully roommates moving in tomorrow, and life is good. If you like this one, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and hope you have a wonderful week too. I love you guys. Peace.